You pet your cat every single day and you genuinely believe they are happy. You buy them toys. You refill their bowl before it even gets empty. You let them sleep wherever they want. You call that love. And it is. But here is what almost nobody in the pet world tells you. The signs that your cat is truly, deeply happy have almost nothing to do with any of that. They are not loud. They are not obvious. And if you do not know exactly what you are looking for, you will walk right past them every single day for years, believing everything is fine, while your cat's internal stress system is quietly running at a level that is silently compressing their immune function, disrupting their gut bacteria, and shortening the window of time they stay healthy beside you. The 7 behaviors in this video are not cute quirks. Each one is a measurable signal generated by a specific biological mechanism inside your cat's nervous system. Each one tells you something precise about whether your cat's stress hormone baseline is low, whether their predator circuitry is getting what it needs, and whether the trust bond between you and them is intact at the neurological level. Most cat owners have never heard any of this explained this way. That is not their fault. It is a gap in how the pet industry communicates feline science to the people who need it most. Before we get to behavior number 1, there is something you need to understand about how a cat's body handles happiness versus stress. Cats are what behavioral scientists call concealment species. Unlike dogs, who show every emotion through vocalizations and body posture that humans can easily read, cats evolved to mask internal states. In the wild, a cat that openly broadcasts discomfort or fear becomes a target. So over millions of years, their biology built an extraordinary suppression system. They hide pain. They hide fear. They hide low-grade chronic stress with a discipline that is almost impossible to penetrate if you do not know the specific microsignals their body still cannot fully control. A research team at the University of Lincoln published a study in 2015 in the journal PLOS ONE identifying what they called the secure base effect in domestic cats. They found that cats form genuine attachment bonds with their primary caregivers, bonds that look neurologically similar to infant caregiver attachment in human developmental psychology. The key finding was this: a securely attached cat does not show happiness through dramatic behavior. It shows happiness through the absence of vigilance, through subtle shifts in posture, muscle tension, and behavioral timing that most owners never learn to see. That is exactly what this video is about. Behavior number 1 is the slow environmental scan. Picture your cat sitting on the couch or on a windowsill. Not sleeping, not playing, not eating, just sitting. Their eyes are partially open, maybe at half-mast. Their head turns slowly to survey the room. Their body is loose, not coiled. They look to most owners like they are doing absolutely nothing. Most owners ignore this completely. Some even interrupt it by calling the cat's name, walking over, or starting a play session. That is a mistake because what you are actually watching is one of the clearest signals your cat can produce that their nervous system is operating in a low-threat state. Here is the exact mechanism. A cat's autonomic nervous system operates along a spectrum between 2 poles. On one end is the sympathetic state, which most people know as fight or flight. Heart rate up, pupils wide, muscles coiled, cortisol and adrenaline flooding the system. On the other end is the parasympathetic state, sometimes called rest and digest. Heart rate slow and steady, muscles loose. Pupils at normal, moderate dilation. Cortisol at baseline. The slow environmental scan is only possible when the parasympathetic system is dominant, when cortisol is low, when the brain's threat detection circuit centered in the amygdala is not firing. A cat whose stress system is chronically activated, even at a low level, cannot produce this behavior. They will watch the environment, but they will watch it differently. Tighter posture, faster eye movement, ears rotating more frequently. The difference is subtle, but it is real and it is measurable. Dr. Irene Rochlitz, a feline welfare researcher at the University of Cambridge, has written extensively on the relationship between environmental control and stress in domestic cats. Her research describes how a cat that can calmly survey their territory without postural tension is a cat that has assessed their environment as safe. That assessment is not cognitive the way human thought is. It is neurological, it is automatic, and it is happening every single time your cat sits in that half-awake scan position. What most owners get wrong about this behavior is that they interpret stillness in a cat as boredom or indifference. So they try to fix it. They shake a toy, they call the cat over, they pick them up. Every single one of those interruptions pulls the cat out of a parasympathetic state and sends a small but real signal back towards sympathetic activation. You did not hurt them. But you interrupted the one physiological state that actually confirms they are at peace in your home. The practical implication of this is simple but counterintuitive. When you see your cat doing that slow, loose, half-sleepy scan of the room, do nothing. Recognize it for what it is. That is your cat's nervous system telling you that the cortisol tap is off, that the house is registered as safe territory, that the threat detection system is resting. That is not nothing. That is the biological definition of a happy cat in real time. This matters more for apartment cats specifically. Research from the University of Georgia using GPS tracking showed that outdoor cats range over approximately 42 acres on average. An apartment cat's entire world might be 600 square feet. For their nervous system to register that compressed space as safe, every element must consistently read as non-threatening. The slow scan is your confirmation that it does. Behavior number 2 happens in the first 40 seconds after you walk through the door, and almost no one interprets it correctly. When you come home, your cat does one of a few things. They come toward you, they make a sound, they stay where they are, or they leave the room. Most owners read the first 2 as love and the last 2 as rejection. That is the wrong framework entirely. What you actually need to watch is not whether your cat comes toward you. It is what their tail is doing when they do. A cat approaching you with their tail held straight up, vertical, with a slight curve at the very tip, is performing one of the most specifically documented positive social signals in feline behavior. Researchers John Bradshaw and Charlotte Cameron Beaumont at the Anthrozoology Institute at the University of Southampton were among the first to document this. The vertical tail posture is used almost exclusively when a cat is initiating friendly social contact. It is never observed in threat contexts. It is a clean, unambiguous positive signal. The biology connects directly to how cats communicate with each other. In feline social groups, the vertical tail approach evolved as a way to signal non-aggressive intent before physical contact. It is the equivalent of walking towards someone with your hands open and visible. It means I am not a threat. I chose to come to you. Cats do not approach people out of obligation. When your cat crosses the room toward you with a vertical tail, they made an active choice. Their nervous system assessed the situation, registered your arrival as a positive event, and generated that response. That sequence only happens when their baseline emotional state is stable. For cats living in apartments in dense urban environments where sound and foot traffic keep the sympathetic nervous system intermittently activated, this behavior is even more diagnostic. A study published in the journal Animal Cognition in 2019 found that cats in higher density living situations showed significantly lower rates of owner-directed affiliative behavior, including the vertical tail approach, compared to cats in quieter environments. If your cat greets you this way consistently, that is a measurement of their baseline stress level, confirming it is within a healthy range. The curve at the very tip is not random. Behavioral researchers call it the question mark tail posture. Its presence indicates the cat is in an approach curiosity state, wanting contact but giving you the option to respond or not. That is a sophisticated social negotiation. A cat doing this is asking rather than demanding. That is a sign of intact social confidence and genuine trust. If your cat used to greet you at the door and has stopped doing that over a period of weeks, something in their environment, their body, or their emotional experience of the home has changed. The vertical tail greeting does not disappear without a reason. If it does, that reason is worth investigating. Behavior number 3 lives in your cat's face, and it is one of the most overlooked biological signals in feline science. Watch their face the next time they are sitting near you but not actively doing anything. Look at 3 things simultaneously: the position of their ears, the tension around their forehead, and the dilation of their pupils. A cat whose ears are loosely forward and slightly outward is a cat whose auditory threat detection system is in a passive mode. No acoustic threat is being processed. Dr. Daniel Mills at the University of Lincoln has described tension in the periorbital region, the muscles around and above the eyes, as one of the most consistent, measurable indicators of feline pain and stress. When those muscles are relaxed, the forehead is smooth. When stress is present, those muscles create faint tension lines above the eyes that trained observers can see immediately. A smooth forehead, loose ears, and moderately dilated pupils together mean the threat detection system is resting. The cortisol tap is off. Most cat owners receive this signal dozens of times a day and never register it. They glance at their cat, see that the cat looks normal, and move on. But that relaxed face is not just normal. It is a real-time measurement. It is your cat's nervous system displaying its internal state on the surface of their body in a way that is readable once you know what you are seeing. Approximately 94 million cats live in American homes right now, according to the American Pet Products Association. Most of their owners walk past this signal every day because nobody ever taught them where to look. You just learned something most cat owners will never know. Behavior number 4 is one that happens while your cat is completely still, and it is what feline researchers say is the single most reliable indicator of genuine psychological safety in domestic cats. Almost every owner sees it, almost none understand what they are seeing. It is the exposed belly position. Your cat is lying on their back or tilted heavily to one side, with their abdomen fully visible and completely unguarded. No paws covering it, no tense muscles pulling it inward, just the soft underside of their body, completely open to the room. Most owners know this position as an invitation to rub the belly. That reading leads, consistently, to a cat that suddenly grabs your hand with all 4 paws and bites, and the owner is confused every single time. What happened? You are not reading the behavior. You are projecting a dog behavior onto a cat. Here is what the exposed belly position actually communicates. In any animal that can be hunted, exposing the abdomen is one of the most biologically dangerous things a body can do. Every instinct a cat carries tells them to keep that region protected. When your cat overrides all of that and rolls onto their back in your presence, they are not asking for a belly rub. They are demonstrating through a physical act that requires overriding millions of years of survival instinct that they feel completely safe in this space. Dr. Karen Overall, a veterinary behaviorist extensively cited in clinical feline literature, has described the relaxed lateral recumbent posture in cats as one of the strongest observable indicators of low baseline arousal and high environmental security. The behavior cannot be performed under stress. A cat whose cortisol system is even mildly elevated will not expose their abdomen. The muscles will not allow it. This is why the exposed belly position is more informative than almost any other behavior your cat can show you. It is not a choice in the way conscious decisions are choices. It is a physical output of a neurological state. When you see it, you are not seeing your cat doing something. You are seeing your cat's stress system confirming its own baseline. The practical shift in understanding this behavior is significant. Stop treating the exposed belly as an invitation. Start treating it as a report. Your cat is telling you, in the most biologically direct language they have, that their nervous system has classified your home as safe territory. A quiet acknowledgement, a soft word, staying where you are rather than moving toward them, honors the communication without disrupting the state that produced it. Think about a rescue cat like Biscuit, brought into a foster home after 3 years in an unpredictable environment. For 6 weeks, she slept only in tight curled positions, always in corners, always with her back to a wall. Week 7, she had fallen asleep on the living room rug, partially on her side, one paw extended. By week 10, she was rolling fully onto her back in the middle of the floor. Her foster family did not reach for her. They understood what it meant. Her nervous system had finally registered the house as safe. Behavior number 5 is a sound, and it is not the sound you think. It is not purring, or rather, it is not just purring. Because here is what most cat channels never explain about purring. Not all purrs are happiness signals. Cats purr under stress. They purr in pain. They purr during veterinary examinations while their cortisol is spiking. Research published in Applied Animal Behavior Science in 2009, led by Dr. Karen McComb at the University of Sussex, identified what she called the solicitation purr, embedded with a high-frequency component at approximately 580 Hz that activates the same urgency response in human listeners as a crying infant. Cats use this purr to manipulate feeding and attention. It is a demand signal, not a contentment signal. So if purring is not a clean happiness indicator, what is? The answer is a specific vocalization that most cat owners hear regularly and misidentify as a random quirk. It is the trill, sometimes called a chirrup. It is a short, rising, melodic sound cats produce with their mouth closed. At a frequency between 200 and 500 hertz, it is the sound a mother cat makes when she approaches her kittens. It is the sound cats in bonded pairs use when they move toward each other after separation. And it is the sound your cat makes when they approach you after you have been in another room. The trill is never produced under stress. It has no threat function. It has no demand function. It is a pure social bonding vocalization that feline researchers describe as a proximity greeting, meaning it is specifically generated when a cat wants to close social distance with an individual they have a positive relationship with. A study from Stockholm University in 2016, published in PLOS One, analyzed acoustic characteristics of cat vocalizations directed at humans versus other cats. Cats produce measurably different vocalizations for their owners compared to strangers, and trills were among the sounds most consistently reserved for familiar, positively associated individuals. When your cat trills at you, their brain has generated a specific vocalization reserved for bonded individuals. That is a neurological choice. The cat in your home right now, the one who trills when you walk into the kitchen in the morning, is producing a sound their biology did not have to make. It made it because you are in the category of individuals their nervous system has classified as safe. Behavior number 6 is the one that most owners interpret as their cat ignoring them, and that misreading causes real damage to the relationship over time. It is slow blinking combined with the look away. Your cat is sitting near you. They make eye contact, and then slowly they close their eyes halfway, hold that position for 1 or 2 seconds, and then look away to the side. Most owners interpret this as disinterest. Some interpret it as the cat being tired. A few feel slightly rejected by it. Almost none of them understand what just happened at the neurological level. Direct, unblinking eye contact in feline social behavior is a dominance and threat signal. It is what cats do when establishing hierarchy or preparing for confrontation. A cat that holds eye contact without breaking it is signaling willingness to escalate. The entire social meaning of eye contact in cats is structurally opposite to what it means in human interaction. When your cat slowly closes their eyes in your presence and looks away, they are performing one of the most specific appeasement and trust signals in the feline behavioral repertoire. They are telling you that they do not need to monitor you as a potential threat, that they can remove their gaze from you without concern, that you are not someone they need to watch. Research from Dr. Tasmin Humphrey and Dr. Karen McComb at the University of Sussex, published in 2020 in Scientific Reports, demonstrated that this slow blink sequence functions as a positive emotional signal in both directions. Cats slow blinked more in response to owners who slow blinked at them, and unfamiliar humans who performed the slow blink were significantly more likely to have cats approach them voluntarily. Every time your cat slow blinks and looks away from you, they have given you the feline equivalent of a nod of trust. Returning it with your own slow blink closes a communication loop that their social biology is built to respond to. That 3-second exchange costs you nothing. What it deposits into your relationship with your cat compounds over every single day you do it. Behavior number 7 is the last one, and it is the one that will change how you understand everything your cat does from this point forward. It is the choice to be near you when they do not have to be. Not on your lap, not being held, not responding to your call, just quietly being in whatever room you are in, on their own terms, without any visible reason related to food, warmth, or routine. This behavior sounds simple. The science behind it is not. Cats domesticated themselves. They moved toward human settlements because rodents did, and rodents followed human grain stores. That relationship was, for most of its history, transactional. When a modern domestic cat chooses to be near a human for non-functional reasons, that choice is not the product of instinct. It is individual learning and attachment. The cat has assessed that specific human and decided proximity to them is preferable to any other location in their territory. Dr. Christine Vitale at Unity College in Maine has published research specifically on cat attachment behavior. Her work found that approximately 65% of cats show secure attachment behavior toward their primary caregiver. The defining feature of secure attachment was not dramatic affection. It was the use of the caregiver as a secure base. The cat moves away, explores, returns. The caregiver's presence anchors them. When your cat sits near you in the middle of the afternoon for no apparent reason, gets up, wanders, and comes back 20 minutes later, that is not random. That is secure attachment behavior in real time. That is your cat's nervous system filing you in the category of things that make the world feel navigable. And in the next part, you are going to learn the single mistake that makes every one of these 7 signals disappear, and the 3-step daily practice that keeps them alive. Here is something almost nobody in the pet content world will say out loud. The entire cat behavior industry, the training channels, the toy brands, the popular Instagram accounts with millions of followers, has been teaching cat owners to do exactly the wrong thing with the signals their cats are already producing. And the reason they have been doing it is not malicious. It is structural. Content that performs well is content that shows owners doing things to their cats, petting, playing, picking up, interacting. Content that says sit still and observe your cat does not perform. It does not get clicks. It does not sell stimulation products. So the instruction to do nothing, which is often the most biologically correct response to a happy cat signal, has been systematically absent from the information most owners receive. That absence has cost millions of cats the exact signals they were trying to generate. Now you know the 7 behaviors, but knowing them is only half the equation. The other half is understanding the one mistake that erases them, and the specific daily practice that keeps them alive consistently. The mistake is this: the impulse to immediately increase physical contact the moment you recognize a positive signal. This is not a character flaw. It is an almost universal human response, and it makes complete emotional sense. You see your cat slow blinking at you and something in your brain says they are happy? Go give them love. You see the exposed belly and you want to reach for it because the sight of your cat in that vulnerable, trusting position feels like an invitation. You hear the trill and you want to pick them up because that sound triggers an affectionate response that feels like the right reply. Every single time you do that, you are converting a passive happiness signal into a stimulus event. You are pulling your cat from a parasympathetic nervous system state, the biological state in which all 7 of these behaviors are produced, into a stimulated, reactive state. The signal does not just stop. The state that generated it stops, and your cat's brain registers a pattern. Producing these behaviors leads to being handled. Handled means stimulation. Stimulation means the parasympathetic state collapses. Over weeks and months, cats in households where this pattern repeats consistently begin to produce these signals less. Not because they are less happy, but because their nervous system has learned that producing happiness signals leads to the exact physiological state those signals are incompatible with. It is one of the most counterintuitive damage mechanisms in cat behavior, and almost no popular cat content explains it, because explaining it requires telling people to stop touching their cats, which is not a message that generates engagement. A veterinary behaviorist at Tufts University Cummings School of Veterinary Medicine described this pattern in clinical terms as inadvertent punishment of affiliative behavior. When a positive social signal from a cat is consistently followed by an aversive outcome from the cat's perspective, such as being picked up when they did not initiate contact, the frequency of that signal decreases over time. This is basic operant conditioning, and it is happening in homes across America every single day with complete good intentions on the part of the owner. Here is the 3-part daily practice that keeps all 7 behaviors active and growing. It is called the SEE method. S for see, E for echo, E for exit. See means actively noticing the behavior without reacting. For 30 seconds each time you observe one of the 7 signals, do nothing except look. No movement toward the cat, no vocalization, no change in your body posture. Just see what is happening and register it internally. This step sounds passive. It is not. Most owners have spent years training their own reflexes to respond to a cat signal with immediate physical approach. 30 seconds of deliberate stillness begins to interrupt that reflex at the neurological level. 30 days of doing it consistently starts to rewire it. The cats that produce the most affiliative signals are almost always the cats whose owners have the strongest reflex to pause before responding. Echo means responding in kind, matching the signal with the same signal or a lower intensity version of it. Your cat slow blinks, you slow blink back from exactly where you are. Your cat trills. You make a soft, low sound in return without moving. Your cat shows the exposed belly. You stay where you are. Soften your posture slightly and speak one quiet word. The echo closes the communication loop your cat opened without introducing a new stimulus. This is the response their social biology was actually built for. In feline social groups, most communication exchanges between bonded individuals follow exactly this pattern: signal, mirror, stillness, not signal, mirror, escalation. The mirroring is the entire message, escalation is what creates noise. Exit means being the one who ends the interaction by looking away first, before your cat does. This is the step most owners never take. In feline social behavior, looking away is an appeasement signal. It says, I have no agenda here. I am not a threat. I'm not going to escalate this. When you look away first after an exchange, you are giving your cat something their biology values enormously: agency. The understanding that this interaction will not be taken further than they want it to go. Over time, a cat whose owner consistently exits first becomes a cat that initiates more, because they have learned that initiating does not trap them. 30 days of the SEE method, applied for approximately 5 minutes each day across natural interaction moments, produces a measurable shift in how often a cat initiates affiliative behavior with their owner. This is not a promise of a specific outcome. It is what the behavioral science on feline social learning shows. Cats are extraordinarily sensitive to the consistency of their social environment. When the pattern becomes predictable, see, echo, exit, they lean into it. There is one more thing that needs to be said before this video ends. Something that belongs here because it is the context that makes everything else matter. Cats have been living with humans for approximately 10,000 years, and for most of that time, humans have been misreading them. We have called them cold because they do not display warmth the way dogs do. We have called them aloof because they do not perform happiness in ways our primate brains are wired to recognize. We have called them mysterious because their communication system operates on a frequency we were never taught to tune to. The pet industry did not help. For decades, popular cat content, cat behavior books marketed to the general public, and even some veterinary guidance defaulted to a simplified framework. If your cat is not hissing, not hiding, and not sick, they are probably fine. That framework was never wrong exactly, but it was designed for the lowest bar. It told owners how to recognize a cat in distress. It did not teach them how to recognize a cat in genuine, documented, biologically measurable happiness. The 7 behaviors in this video are not soft observations. Each one has a measurable physiological correlate. Each one reflects a specific state of the autonomic nervous system. Each one has been studied by researchers at institutions like the University of Lincoln, the University of Sussex, Tufts University, and Unity College, Maine, and what those researchers found is consistent across studies and across cultures. Happy domestic cats produce specific, identifiable signals, and those signals have been going unread in millions of homes, not because the owners do not care, but because nobody gave them the framework to read them. The cat in your home right now has been doing all of this the entire time. The slow scan on the windowsill, the vertical tail when you come home, the smooth forehead and loose ears while you work at your desk, the trill from across the kitchen on a Tuesday morning, the choice to sit in the same room as you on a Saturday afternoon for no reason that required your participation. All of it has been real. All of it has been consistent. All of it has been exactly what the science says it is. The gap was never between you and your cat. The gap was between what your cat was doing and what you had been taught to look for. That gap just closed. If you made it to the end of this video, drop the word "seen" in the comments, because that is exactly what just happened. You saw your cat, maybe for the first time, and they have been waiting for that. If this video changed how you understand your cat, subscribe to this channel right now. Every video we make is built on the same principle. The science of what cats are actually doing is available, it is real, and your cat's quality of life shifts when you have access to it. Subscribe so you do not miss what comes next, because the next video goes somewhere that most cat channels will never take you. And your cat deserves an owner who knows what we are about to show you.